there that night too. We were
was
all
there.
in the back in the green room, and
That was the night that he pissed me off. That was where my issues with him started.
why? What happened
I
there?
asked him to come do an interview. And
You see, I'm Southside reppin', big foot steppin'. Zone 3 section is God flow perfection. Niggas hating on the church like I ain't blessed they section. If we ain't talking money, I got a weak connection. That's on the hood. She said get a bag, so I get it, got it good. Don't complain about my problems, I just put it in a wood. Seen a genie the other day, she said nigga, make it good. So I wish for good health, then I wish to look. It's chief, not
it
lieutenant.
wasn't pretty all the time, but that's
Nope.
So, all right. You ready? We rocking? You ready?
We're going right in. I'm always ready, bro.
All right. So, another episode of Live on Lake Street. Another special guest. So, you're always Nate Millyunz to me, but I know you changed it. You switched it
Yeah.
up to just your
So
government.
It was basically, well, technically Nathan Mills. That's where it was like me and Kato were stuck because my whole idea was to switch all my music to Nate Mills. And it wasn't for any big purpose. Like, we were just trying to limit what stuff was on streaming platforms. So he's like, what do you think about going with Nate Mills? I'm going to try to switch it over. So we were basically going to transition everything from the Nate Millyunz accounts from all my distribution over to this new one. As you can probably tell, if you look up my Apple Music right now, it did not work for whatever reason. So I got like 3 songs out under Nate Mills. So I think everything going forward is going to be under Nate Mills.
Okay. All right. So, we got Nate Mills.
Nate Mills,
Welcome to Live on Lake Street.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's
I've
good
been
to see
waiting
you, man.
get
It's
in
been
here.
a while.
It's good to see you, bro.
Yeah,
Y'all
man.
are looking good as hell, man.
I appreciate it, man. So, I want to lead with this right off the bat. We were talking a little bit about it off the mic, but let's talk about this lyric interview. I know that it was probably a special moment for you
It's
because of your relationship with him.
100%. Yeah, it was probably one of the best interviews I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you.
Like, obviously, that's subjective because I love Lyric. He's like a
Right.
brother to me, but it just gave a glimpse to everyone else, like, what's been going on. Like, the dude has no social media accounts.
Yep.
Unless you know him personally and you're friends with him like that, then you're not going to really, know what's going on in his life. So I thought it was insightful in that way.
Yeah. So one of the things that the topics I had to broach with him was the whole MCC story.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's legend to it. You know what I mean? The collective, there's legend to it.
Especially while it was clicking, too. Like
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
While it was
Yep.
clicking. So I would like to ask you, from your perspective, like, for one, like, why did it kind of fall apart? And two, the Plaza situation. I want your perspective on that too, because I feel like maybe he wasn't all the way honest with me on his feelings because he didn't want to throw somebody under the
You
bus.
talking about Lyric?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I know for a fact that while all this shit was happening, like with Plaza in, Plaza out, and how things were going, I know that people felt away.
Yeah, for sure.
So what was
Yeah,
your?
there was-
But you and him kind of showed up at the same time, right?
At the same time, yeah, and like I said, I don't think it was even like the MCC. Like, there was never any like mutual decision, like, oh, we're gonna break up or we're gonna go our separate paths. It's just like that's just what happened. That was the outcome of it.
Yeah.
People kind of individually started doing their own thing,
Yep.
and as far as the Plaza situation goes, like, we kind of came in at the same time. I know that other people inside the collective had feelings about, certain things, even about me and me coming in at first. I know if you were to ask Cobb, Reed Benjamin, at first he was a little standoffish with me because the way I see it like this, like, there are so many people and still that they'll, you know what I mean? They get their ideas from social media, but have never sat in this environment like me and you are doing right now and had a one-on-one conversation with me. So, I really don't have a lot.
Was there white rapper beef?
I don't think so. I don't think it was like that. Like, I always thought Cobb was super dope. You know what I mean?
He is.
And I think he probably thought the same of me.
Yeah.
Maybe not at that moment, but no, I don't know. You'd have to get his take on that.
And I will.
Yeah, please do.
And I
I'd like
will.
to know, but obviously, like, he's like a brother to me now. A lot of those guys are still.
So you never felt a way about how Plaza kind of interacted with the group because it always looked, I think, from a public perspective, which at that time is really all I was.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. I didn't know anybody. I didn't know you. Like, that was, first night I met you was the first night I met Plaza.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know from
You
my
remember
perspective.
Lyrics, was it the Power Moves
Power
release
Moves
show when
release
y'all
show.
were backstage?
Yep.
That was at the Caboose,
Yep,
right?
yep,
Yep.
yeah.
And we did all the interviews after. So obviously, because Plaza was there that night too. We were
was
all
there.
back in the green room. And
That was the night that he pissed me off. That was where my issues with him started.
why? What happened
I
there?
asked him to come do an interview, and he literally tapped me on my chest and said, when the time is right. And I was like, the time is right now. And then he ended up doing it later
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Joe and not with me.
Yeah. Okay.
So maybe he'll
See,
watch
I
this
didn't
and
know all that,
Yeah,
you
so
know?
that's why. But then watching, because going into that night, there was a lot of talk about Plaza is like the guy, that
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
So I was excited to like meet him and see him and figure out like what he was really about. And then while getting to know people and watching things, seeing him with the kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and then y'all became my friends, and now I'm like,
Yeah, I
This
think
is
there
a-
was a lot of like people feeling that way about it, like
Yeah.
1 foot in, 1 foot out, and maybe like going to what's beneficial at the time, what's gonna help excel you to that next level.
yep.
Um,
Using it when it works for you, and then stepping away when it doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. But I also feel like people like that experience you had with him is like, you know how many people, especially when I was drinking, like how many people probably had a bad first interaction with me and they were like, that guy's a prick. You know what I mean? You just have these thoughts about somebody after, you know what I mean? And you never know what it's like from their perspective. You know what I mean? That sounds like that sounds pretty fucked up.
He tried
but-
to little bro me,
Right. Yeah.
and I'm
yeah.
like, what?
But you know what I mean? Like you could have, you know what I mean? There could have been any time at any one of these shows when you didn't have time for somebody that you accidentally,
Maybe
passed them by and
Yeah.
said,
perspective. You're
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
No, you ain't wrong about that. You ain't wrong. But yeah, I mean, there's validity to that. But you never really felt away, because I always respected the way that you handled.
I didn't, because it wasn't like I was in like an administrative role.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the one overseeing the whole thing. You know what I mean? It was like at the time for me, it was like, oh my God, we got all these dope artists in
Yeah.
one, you know what I mean? One collectively push each other's music. If somebody's got a project coming out, we're all going to ride behind that, you know,
Yeah.
and get behind that.
Yeah.
So that's just what it was to
Didn't
me.
really-
Like I guess I didn't see things from up here because I was in here, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So one of the other topics that's sort of been a hot button topic definitely since the last time I spoke to you, was all the kind of shit that happened within the scene with rhyme sayers and Prof and like the sexual assault allegations and all
Yeah.
this shit, which kind of turned into like this situation where it was like, holy shit, Minnesota is represented by kind of what looks like a bunch of trash.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we also kind of came to the surface is the face of Minnesota hip hop is a bunch of white rappers.
Yeah, and what's weird to me is I went to school at IPR,
Mm-hmm.
Institute of Production and Recording in Minneapolis, if you don't know, and they were always just like so dick rider-ish of all the rhyme sayer shit, and it just pissed me off because like I was never a fan of any of that shit, to be honest. Like there was dope shit, like sure Atmosphere had some good songs back in the day, but it wasn't my cup of tea. It never was, and they just beat you over the head with like rhyme sayers is the face of Minnesota hip hop, and it's like no, to me, especially now that I've stepped away in kind of the same sense that Lyric did, I get to see other, you know what I mean? Like I got it. It let me become a fan of people that I necessarily wasn't before. I saw them as, that's the competition.
That's food.
And now it's like, no, I'm a fan of Tay Supreme. I like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
get to sit back and watch.
Yeah.
I don't know. The rhyme sayer shit, like, part of me, like, it's horrible hearing that shit. Obviously, like, the stories were fucking disgusting. Can I swear on here?
Absolutely.
I already have, so it's already jeopardized.
Yep.
But it's just like it was almost gut wrenching reading some of the shit, especially what's his name, Dem Atlas. Some of that shit, I was like, what the fuck, you know?
And then to find out that they lied
Well,
about dropping him.
well, and 100, like I've heard that he's like maintained his innocence throughout this too, and it's like,
Which he's not. I'm just going to say
well,
it right here for the camera.
The stories
Sorry.
are very, very detailed. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But yeah,
And that fake apology, the
I
one where
was
he
sitting there
tried
when
to
all
cry.
that shit was coming out. There was like 3 days because that was during the lockdown shit, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
I was sitting there reading, and I try to like detach from social media quite a bit these days, but
Yeah.
I was just locked in. Like, oh my god, this shit is just fucked up.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
So you being a white rapper,
Yeah.
do you have any feelings or thoughts on yourself being in hip hop? What do you think? What's your responsibility? That's the question. What is your responsibility being a white rapper?
100% to recognize what's going on around me,
Yes.
and you know what I mean. Like, everyone's answer should always be, "There's more I could be doing." You know what
Sure,
I mean?
sure.
100%. It's easy to say, but you got to first recognize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then take your responsibility in it too.
Yeah. And I think, to add to it, for myself, I'm not a rapper, but I am
Right,
white.
right.
In
White in
in
the
the cu-
hip-hop
in the
scene,
culture
yes.
in the culture, taking like you said, acknowledgement that I'm a guest here.
Right.
I'm allowed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
That was always my issue with the whole
Yep.
Prof and Rhyme Sayers being the face of Minnesota hip hop. That's incorrect.
Yeah.
We got to fix that. So I'm glad all this shit happened.
I see
think
like a
that
lot of
started
the
it.
shit for Prof though just kind of blew over. It seems like, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
you
what
know.
it seems to me anyway. Like,
Yeah.
again, I'm not in the scene anymore. Like I got to take a back seat
Yeah.
and just kind of watch things
Yep.
when I want to now.
yeah.
But to me, it seems like, oh, he's back on the road. He's touring. He's putting out projects. He's still got the same crew of people with him.
Prof shit was a little less horrifying. It was
Yeah,
for
I
him it was some
agree.
tweets, but
I agree. And they were making a big deal about like the brothel scene in his album cover or whatever. That's
Yeah.
stupid as fuck. Sex has been a huge industry for way before we were here. So
for sure. Yeah, he did definitely seem to skate a little
there's
bit.
no more. There's no transaction like I'm going to pay you for a service. You know what I mean? Like what's the big deal? Brothels are legal in a lot of other countries.
Yeah.
So
That's true. Shout out to the brothels.
that was stupid as shit to me, to be honest.
That is stupid. That's
Speculation.
That's people grasping at straws to try and
100%.
cancel
yeah.
somebody, which
Yeah.
doesn't actually exist. But okay, so did you by chance yesterday see the DJ Mount Rushmore that we posted?
I did, yeah.
What were your thoughts?
I thought it was accurate. I saw that I saw the comment thread had like 140 something comments when I saw it, so I knew other people had some shit to say about it. But I thought it was on par.
Did you see that we left an open space?
I did, and I saw who the majority of people thought should fill that space.
And that was?
Was it Advance?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
Would you agree with that? Or
I would, yeah, I would.
I feel like that was probably the general consensus was Advance.
But I'm always going to be biased towards, like, you know what I mean? Like DJs that I've had a relationship with too.
Yeah.
But Inferno's undeniable.
I agree.
Undeniable.
I agree. Yeah, it was a good. What I think is funny is the reactions when you even leave an open space. It's like people still get mad. It's like,
Yeah.
bro, whatever you say, then that's the answer.
Those Rushmores are like the most genius shit though. 'Cause
So you enjoy that?
Oh, 100%.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And it's good because it gets people talking.
Right.
It gets them going to your page to say who's on this Rushmore. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it don't even matter what. As long as people are talking, that's what
Yep,
matters. We need
100%.
conversation rolling. So let's talk a little bit about the album here. You got the album Libra coming the 19th.
Yeah, it's gonna be out Thursday at midnight. That's how that works, right?
Yep.
Yep.
I
So
believe so.
Thursday
As long as you
at
have it
midnight.
uploaded on time.
Yep. No, it's in. It's
Yeah.
punched in there. It's actually available for pre-order right now.
Okay.
Not that anybody buys albums anymore. I don't expect them to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not why I made it. I didn't make it to make, money off of it.
Yeah. Why did you make it?
I just felt like it, bro. Like last year I put out that October 13th song and video, and it was just super spur of the moment. Simon sent over the instrumental. Hey, bro, I know you're not really rapping anymore, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me see what I can do with it. So last year that was kind of like fall season is my creative season. So
Yeah.
as soon as the leaves start changing colors, boom, I get this like 2-week motivation period.
Yeah.
And then this year I just decided to make a whole album out of it. So it came together super fast. And for me, it was the most fun project I've ever made in my life because there was no pressure. Like, I don't give a fuck if 2 people hear it or if, you know what I mean? Like, it's
And-
liberating making music for me for fun
Yeah.
and not out of responsibility.
Well, I've listened to it. I pretty much got through it once.
Yep. That
I
makes
mean, I've heard
sense.
some of the songs I've heard before.
Yep.
So I have some of those.
And we
but-
remastered, like, the Clickbait. I put that one out December of last year.
Yeah.
October 13th, just Simon kind of remastered some of them. And then the Wedding Day one, the one that I made for my wife.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you, man.
Sorry I didn't make the wedding, but I
Yeah.
really wasn't feeling like
Yeah,
looking
no,
at
you had
love
your own
at that
shit
time.
going on, bro.
Yeah. But so yeah, man, project at first glance sounds great. I mean, you always sound great and you put together great bodies of work. So
Yeah, like to me it was just fun because it's like one of the main reasons, like Lyric touched on a lot of the reasons that like, I would have said that I left the scene for the same reasons. Obviously not making enough money, and I was doing it in a grueling way too. I was touring 3 to 4 times a year, coming back. By the time you pay a DJ, you pay a rental car, you pay lodging, food. You're walking away with $1,000 in your pocket for spending 18 days on the road playing 14 shows. Not really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I could take my work ethic to any other career and make a lot more fucking money.
and that's the case.
And that's exactly what I did. Yeah.
Right. That's the case for the music business.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it works. Most people that's where they're going to turn.
Yep.
It's like I can take what I've learned here.
Even
put it
when
in
you've
someone else.
had, you know what I mean, like in the grand scheme of things, you look at the industry, how many artists are out there, how many DJs, how many producers. I probably have more successes than 90% of people that, you know, try to pursue music as a
Talk
career.
your shit.
It's true. It's just
true.
true.
It is
you know?
true. I know that.
Like I was making money, but you're also turning around and investing that money right back into yourself. And it's a grueling business, especially the touring shit. And the older I got, I wasn't partying anymore. So then tours became even worse. You know what I mean? Like it was just like, oh God, I don't want to be here, you know?
Yeah.
And then you got to go up on stage every night and pretend like, you know, you're the happiest you've ever been.
For sure. Well, I'm glad you're still rapping, even if it is just for fun.
It is for fun.
And what's funny is the project will probably it'll probably do the best out of all your projects
It probably
because
will, but-
because you don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
how it
works.
always goes, bro.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then, like,
yeah.
the Love and War project, like, I told myself at the time, I'm like, this is the last project I'm ever going to make. So that project's either going to put me up here, and it charted. It, you know, it did well. It got a good response from my fan base, but at the end of the day, it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't enough.
So you're not going to tour or anything off this project?
Oh,
You're just going to release it
Hell
and
no.
let people
I'm going to
hear it?
release it and say have fun with it. That's what it was made for, so.
That's dope. Okay, my last question. This is a question we ask everybody. I need your top 5 Minnesota artists.
Bro, that's tough.
Yeah.
Like, still active?
Your personal top 5. They don't have to be active.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put, since I did move Cashy here this year, I'm going to put Cashy number 1. I think Cashy, there's a lot of great artists in this state. Cashy will rap circles
One
around
of the
anybody.
greatest songwriters
Yeah,
in
100%.
the world.
It's got to be Cashy. I got to say Lyric. I really, really like Tay Supreme, not only as a person, but I think his music's super dope. I think he has, like, his own lane.
He definitely does.
This is going to be tough, man, these last two. And I'm not even saying, like, the first two are in order, so I'm not saying Tay's number 3.
Yeah, you ain't
I
gotta
would
put it
say,
in.
like, top 5, just for, like, you know, I see his stuff a lot.
Yep.
I'm milking the clock on this one, bro. I think Novi's up there, too, for me. I like Novi's shit.
Finding Noivion, you mean?
Yes. And Cashanova's super dope, too, I got to say.
That's a solid 5.
Yeah, Cashanova, like, again, like, I see Tay shit on Instagram. You know, every video he's going to drop, Cashanova's the same way. Like, obviously, like, I look at it from a business perspective, too. If I'm seeing what you're posting, then you're doing something right. So
Yeah, agreed.
I got to give credit to the business side of things, too.
That's a really solid 5. I don't think anybody would be mad at that.
Yeah.
So, album, Libra, November 19th, out everywhere.
19th, yep. There's supposed to be 12 songs on it, but there's only going to be 11, unfortunately. So.
What happened?
The last one I got, it's a long story, but I thought Simon had produced that gospel song at the end. That was going to be the outro. I don't know if you got to listen to that one. It's called I'll Be Damned.
Damn it.
And then I realized that I jacked that beat off of YouTube, and I was like thinking, like, this was like 6 to 8 months ago. So I was thinking, like, I recorded to it, and I think I like sent it to Simon, like, hey, will you mix this up? And then, like, we're going to recreate something like this. But
Yeah.
in my mind, I just thought that he produced that song, and he didn't. So.
Got it. So it's not going to.
And it wasn't for sale when I went back to the producer. He's like, sorry, I already made a song. It had like 130 views. It's like, well, you wasted that one, buddy.
Yeah, you did.
But-
Damn. Well, either way, I look forward to people hearing the album. I look forward to seeing a response, especially now that you have kind of.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do like any production or anything. I'm going to let the album, like I'll probably post like it's out now, but other than that, you know.
Nothing crazy. No promo.
No.
Well, we'll post it.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Well, man, this has been a pleasure.
Absolutely. It always is.
Always.
Jacob.
It always is. Always, man. Where can they find you? Do you want them to find you?
Still, what's my Instagram now? Official Nate Mills. I changed it from the Nate Millyunz. Facebook Nathan Mills. Nate Mills on my music business page. I'm a boomer now. I'm starting to realize that I still use Facebook like more than anything because it's the only platform that I understand how to actually reach people on. I'm just too old to be trying to promote
That's all right.
anyway.
Hey, whatever works.
But it's
for
a
you.
really good album. You should
It
listen
is.
to it for sure. It's gonna be 11 songs and just made for fun. So
Go get it.
yes, sir.
And what if they want to buy a house from you? Can you sell people
Oh,
a house?
absolutely. I'll sell your house. I'll help you buy a house if you want to do both. 2-way transaction, 100%. Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a realtor as well.
For sure. A realtor rapper. Why would you not want to work with this guy?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
All right. This has been another episode of Live on Lake Street. I'm Jake Faircloth. You can follow me everywhere at Jake Faircloth1. And remember, don't be a B-Mike. That's it. We're out.
What's a beat mic?
Damn, what that? In high school, I let it blam, what that? I wasn't playing, what that? I'm coming straight out the south. Hey, genius, best watch your mouth. When I put up on P&B Rock, that nigga ain't even come out. You moving ounces, I just moved 100 things in a drought. You want the south side, outside the fence of your house. You talking all that shit, and then when I come talk it out. Bitch, if you ain't talking money, fuck you talking about.